Do you want to know one of the root causes leading women to initiate divorce? It's the societal message we receive and internalize that a man's greatest value is reliant upon his ability to be a good provider, on doing rather than being, on productivity rather than quality connection. And I have plenty to say on how this has led to women being devalued. For today, I want to remain focused on just how destructive this message is for men in terms of their understanding about their worth, and also in terms of their beliefs about their ability to develop the skills needed to improve the quality of connection with the people in their lives.
Guys, never take dating advice from women. Okay, you will always get some variant of men need to do more for us, men need to do that, men need to do this. Okay, and this is one such example, guys, where we're going to be jumping through in this woman's mind why women are out here doing most of the divorcing. Now, this woman right here, gentlemen, is a dating coach, and we're going to be cracking into her services later on. But for now, guys, we're going to be jumping through some of her videos and seeing what she has to say, guys. And don't be fooled, this has nothing to do with compassion for men. This has nothing to do with furthering relationships and making them better for both people. It really does come down to trying to get more out of relationships for women, guys. Give us more attention, give us more things, and then things will go smoothly, guys. But we're going to be cracking into this video without further ado.
To see how this plays out within a problematic pattern in relationships, let's think about Gary Chapman's love language theory for a moment. And it's not something that I ask about in sessions. However, that information is offered to me all the time. And what I hear over and over and over again from men and also from their partners is that the man's love language is acts of service, right? Pretty much every time. And so if you think about it, doesn't that make so much sense? That if you're told that your greatest value is in doing things, right? Of course your love language is going to be acts of service. And there's value to that. You know, it does feel like care to your partner. It does lead to reduced resentment within how the whole household is run. It does.
Let me pause you there. No, it doesn't. It actually increases resentment the more you do for someone who doesn't deserve it. Guys, I cannot tell you the amount of situations that we see. Perhaps you've been in this situation yourself in real life, guys, where you can be going out here doing absolutely everything for these girls, you know, driving them around, buying them things, showing how much you care, all this kind of crap. And the more you do those things, gentlemen, the less respect you actually get. Right? A lot of these girls, man, they know that they're not deserving of all this attention, all these things that men do for them, and they don't respect dudes who do those things for them. Especially if you're in our household, right? You're running around trying to make her happy, trying to do all of these things. You guys can set your watch to it, right? If you're in a long-term relationship, one of the fastest ways to drive a girl away, gentlemen, is just do everything that she wants and just go around trying to do everything to make her happy, guys. That is one of the fastest ways to run these women away, and it does not make a household any better, let me tell you that. But on the point that she was talking about men just there, yeah, right, but I actually agree with her right there. You know, men are trained to do acts of service and these sorts of things because they think it'll actually make the relationship better. It absolutely doesn't, but just pay attention to how she twists this into trying to get more out of men.
Help your partner reduce her load. So keep showing up in that way. And
yeah, so keep doing the acts of service, keep doing the acts of kindness, guys. Keep buying the gifts, giving free attention. All right, now let's see what she says.
We are at a point in time, a point in history where it's really important that we expand beyond that in order to develop greater connection between men and women within romantic relationships.
In other words, guys, keep going out there, doing all these fantastic things for women. Go out there, buy them things, show them how much you care. Do these acts of service, acts of kindness, whatever you want to call them. Okay? But now it's time in contemporary society, guys, where we need to expand that. Right? We need to get more. The women need more. They get all these things, but you know what, guys? It's not enough. And this is one of the many reasons why men choose to remain single, guys. Right? I'm going to play that. It is so unreal to me how manipulative that last part of what she just said right there is, guys. In fact, I'm going to play it back one more time before we continue, just so you guys can really catch what she just said there.
Your partner reduce her load. So keep showing up in that way. And we are at a point in time, a point in history where it's really important that we expand beyond that in order to develop greater connection between men and women within romantic relationships.
My goodness, guys. No, the reason why you want to quote unquote expand beyond that, in other words, take more from men, is for your own benefit. Can we stop pulling this altruism card, guys? Like, of how she's just here on TikTok, right? And she's just making a video because she cares so much about how men and women should. Guys, like, what is with this whole thing where everyone just paints altruism over everything? You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, guys, like I'm just here making this TikTok because I think that men and women should get along better. But meanwhile, the actual message of the video is simply that men need to do more. I think men already do plenty enough. I don't know about you gentlemen in the comments. You guys let me know. But men have literally been trained since birth to do more than enough. More than enough. In fact, by default, men have been trained to do too much, right? Because men are trained to give, without anything in return at all, at any point, right? It's like, you guys remember, like, since you guys have been little boys, I'm sure, trained to open doors, trained to get them gifts. You see those movie scenes, right, where the guy's outside the window throwing the rocks and playing the little tune or whatever the case may be, guys. Like, and these girls are still most affected, right? Oh, dudes are trained to do all of these things for you, but you know what? It's not enough, guys. Right, and this woman is 50 plus years old talking about why women divorce because, oh, the connection's not there. Men need to go above and beyond what they already do, which, by the way, before we even continue, guys, the reason why a lot of the times these girls use connection, investment, whatever word you want to use that's just highly ambiguous, the reason why they use those words is because it's ambiguous. Right, because you can say, oh, I just don't feel connected to you. So the guy has to figure it out, and you can use that as a leverage, a manipulation tactic against him because it doesn't actually have any meaning behind it. You see what I'm saying? It's like it'll have contextual meaning. Like if she's talking about Chad, when she says connection, it means he actually needs to commit to her, for example. Right? But girls use this ambiguous language, guys, because it allows them to manipulate the situation without actually saying anything tangible at all.
And so what happens is when there's conflict within the relationship, right, when the woman is saying, I'm not fulfilled here, then men will often immediately go to acts of service. Oh, I need to perform more acts of service, right? I'll do more laundry. I'll clean more. I'll go get the groceries. I'll take the kids to soccer, whatever it is. I'll cook more. And so they think that that's going to solve the problem. And initially, because it does ease the load for the woman.
Let's just pause there. Notice her hesitancy there, guys. She knows that it doesn't solve the problem, right? She knows that that won't solve a damn thing if you're going out here doing these things for women. It won't solve anything. Like, look at that little hesitation she just had right there, guys. The eyes looking up at the ceiling, right? Watch this.
I'll clean more. I'll go get the groceries. I'll take the kids to soccer, whatever it is. I'll cook more. And so they think that that's going to solve the problem. And initially, because it does ease the load for the woman, there's a little bit of relief. And
yeah, it's because it eases the woman. She decides, oh, you know what? I'll give him like a slight bit of breathing room. Guys, doing all this crap doesn't solve anything. In fact, it'll make the situation a hell of a lot worse for you, generally speaking. Right? She doesn't even believe what she's saying right there. Notice how she like dances around it, right?
And then what happens over time is she feels like, no, there's still something missing. What's missing is the emotional intimacy and then how that affects physical intimacy. Women are not
oh, they want the emotional intimacy, guys. They just want the emotional intimacy. That's all. Right, gentlemen, whenever I hear this kind of stuff, right, about how, oh, my man needs to do this, my man needs to do that. No, you know what your man needs? Your man needs to damn well leave you. That's what needs to happen. All right, I'm so sick of hearing this like crap of like, oh yeah, men need to do more of this ambiguous BS in order to keep women around. I'm sorry, guys, these girls who want to stay single and, be a bad boss babe, and then, oh, that's that one guy that she really wants and she wants him to commit. No, I'm good, thank you. And a lot of men are saying, you know what? Nah, I don't really want to deal with this. Okay, because why the hell would men get into relationships? It's like when girls start to demand all this stuff in relationships, it's like it's so laughable, guys. It really is. She can demand all that stuff by herself with her cats. How about that?
leaving their marriages because men didn't do the laundry enough, or vacuum or do the groceries or whatever. That's a part of it. However, they're leaving because there's not enough emotional intimacy.
They're leaving because there's not enough emotional intimacy, guys. Something I've noticed as well about girls leaving, guys, is oftentimes it's just highly contextual, right? It's opportunistic in another way of saying it, right? Where, oh yeah, girls will leave because a better package comes along. They'll leave because that need that you fulfilled has been satiated. Like whatever the case may be, guys. Yeah, she's right in one sense there. Girls don't leave relationships, as a result of the. Actually, no, I'll correct that. They do actually leave relationships as a result of the chores, because men are out here doing, frankly, way, way, way too damn much for these girls who don't deserve it. Now, guys, we've got another video that I want to jump into of this woman, which we're going to be jumping into in a moment. But the real juicy part of the show, guys, is not even the videos today. Like normally it's the videos that are kind of the fun part of the show, I would say, using fun in quotations. But we actually I found this woman's website, and she's a dating coach, guys, and we're actually going to be taking a look at what she says over there and some of the amounts that she charges for coaching. Okay, that is the real meat of today's episode. But let's continue into this video, which is captioned, "Why do we feel close now that I'm saying it's over?"
Why do you suddenly feel a sense of closeness with your partner whom you felt disconnected from for ages during the conversation when you're telling them you want to leave the relationship and in the days following that? And what does it mean? I get asked this question frequently because it's confusing for people. You've been going to your partner over and over again to request that you both learn how to reconnect, how to invest in the relationship so that you can feel more fulfilled. And those requests have been dismissed in some way over and over again. And now that you're going...
I like how she's saying it like they've been dismissed. Right? When here's the thing, okay? A lot of guys in relationships who don't know any better, when girls say, "I'm not feeling fulfilled," or "I'm not feeling connected to you," or whatever, dudes will go out of their way to try and solve that problem. But the language is so ambiguous, it doesn't actually have a solution. You see what I'm saying? So guys will be scrambling around doing all this stuff, and most guys will actually go out of their way to try and fix those problems. But because you're using such ambiguous language, it's like guys can't solve that problem because you haven't given them anything to solve, right?
You're going to your partner to say you want to end the relationship, they're engaged in the conversation in a very different way. They're listening to understand you. They seem more receptive. They seem more curious. They're being kind and caring. They're expressing remorse and compassion. They're telling you that they didn't understand what you were saying before, but now they get it. They're probably requesting that you give them more time because now they're interested in learning how to grow personally and relationally. And these conversations can be very emotional for both partners. One of the reasons...
Guys, I just cannot get over the disgusting use of such ambiguous language, right? Oh yeah, we're growing both personally and interrelationally, or whatever the crap she said right there. You know what I mean, guys? Like how we don't actually, in these videos, a lot of these women, particularly the dating coaches, they don't actually use real tangible language that has any kind of physical action that can be used to solve the problem, right? And like I said, it's so that they can control the dynamic and continue to manipulate the situation as we go through. But one of the things, guys, just to answer the question, which is actually above, I'm going to pull it down, see if you guys can see this, right? It says, "Why do we feel so close now that I'm saying it's over?" The reason why a lot of girls feel quote unquote close and they want to keep the guy around when she says it's over is because the man is prepared to leave. This is a cycle that happens in relationships, gentlemen, where once a dude is prepared to leave and he's actually, said to himself, "You know what, I'm going to walk away. She's no good for me for whatever reason." Then women all of a sudden change their minds and they want to keep him around because he's actually shown the strength to leave. That's the answer to the question. It hasn't got anything to do with him bending more to your needs. It's because for a fraction of a minute during that, he's probably shown a backbone and said, "You know what, I do want to leave you." And when he actually shows that, then the women want him back. And that's what creates these for lack of a better word, guys, I hate to use this word, but toxic relationship cycle. Right, where the women will say, "You know what, I want," but then when the dude is prepared to leave, now she wants to keep him around. You see what I'm saying?
Reasons that your partner is listening and responding differently is because you're delivering a very different message. Up until now, you'd been making requests. You'd been saying that you were still invested in the relationship. You're now making a statement and you're saying you no longer want to invest in the relationship. So your partner senses that something's shifted in you, senses that you mean it. And even though I suspect that they were feeling the distance between you, they maybe didn't allow themselves to sit with the awareness of it. And they are now very aware that they're about to suffer. Now with your partner's heightened awareness, a harsh awakening for them about the state of the relationship, they sit with you to share some intense emotions, grief, disappointment, fear, and it does feel connective. It feels
Guys, we've got to pause there because this is where things sort of become a little bit confusing, okay? Oftentimes when girls have these conversations and they get all giddy, right? They get all smiley thinking about the connection that they made. When they're talking about these situations, you've got to understand that there's kind of like a fork in the road. There's one situation where she's talking to a dude who she doesn't respect in some long-term relationship. And then there's another situation where she's talking about Chad. Right? So she'll like say, oh yeah, we're cutting off our arrangement, her and Chad, because they're not in a relationship. And then she gets happy because it forces something, a situation. Maybe he actually does commit to her as a result of that manipulation or whatever the case may be. But you've got to understand that there's two different conversations going on here. One where she's talking with Chad and then one where she's talking with a provider. Now, providers will sit down and they'll try and work everything out and solve the problems for her and whatever the case may be. But typically, Chads will walk away from this situation and go, you know what, screw it, you're not even worth the relationship anyway. Okay, so you've got to understand there's two kind of conversations going on here. But the one I referenced earlier is a lot of dudes, when they're prepared to leave, that is what makes the women want to keep them around. Okay? Now, if you're a guy and you continue to, this is something really funny that you'll notice, guys, is girls will say, oh, he just wouldn't connect to me. He wouldn't do anything of this and all of that. Like, he wouldn't do this for me. He wouldn't do that for me. And when he finally did, you know what? It was too late. Translation there is basically he wasn't giving her the attention that she wanted. He wasn't doing the things that she wanted. And now that he finally did change, now she's bored. You see what I'm saying there, guys? Like, now that I got him to change, now the chase is over, right? Now the chase is over and I'm no longer interested in him.
Feels intimate. In one of my early videos, I talked about the different types of intimacy and how there was one that none of us would welcome into our lives. And that's intimacy around a crisis. And in that moment, you are in crisis together. As heart-wrenching and draining as it is, go ahead and feel those shared moments of loss together. And just know that stage probably isn't going to last that long.
Just go ahead and feel those moments of loss together, right? And this is where some of the crap that we talk about on the channel comes in, guys, of just girls causing drama just to cause drama, right? I've said this before on the channel. You can be in a relationship with a girl for 10 years. I don't care. Oh, she'll come to the relationship with drama, right? A lot of these girls, man, they crave the ups as well as the downs, okay? Any sort of stable experience for a lot of these girls just frankly bores them. Right, and this is another reason why men choose to walk away from dating is because a lot of these girls, guys, they're attracted to situations and drama and all this stuff that really is just a headache, right? Just an absolute headache. Like that part right there, guys, is like this part moving back where she's like, oh yeah, mate, just feel that situation, feel that sadness together. Like what the hell kind of BS is that? I'd rather just play a video game or something than yeah, guys, let's just sit down and feel our sadness together. How about you do literally anything else? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to sit down and share this emotional connection with you. Like what even is this, man? Like, people have things to do. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to this one more time, guys. It's ridiculous.
A crisis. And in that moment, you are in crisis together. As heart-wrenching and draining as it is, go ahead and feel those shared moments of loss together. And just know that stage probably isn't going to last that long.
Yeah, guys, it's all about the feelings. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. Let's just go out here. Let's cause men headaches and create crises just so we can feel something. Right? Talk about sociopathic, guys. You guys raise that point a lot in the comments of these videos, guys, and I really don't have another word to describe it either. A lot of this is straight sociopathy, causing issues just for the sake of having issues, trying to emotionally manipulate men to get more out of them, whether that be commitment or actually physical things. Like, guys, this stuff really knows no bounds, and sociopathy is certainly a word that I would link to situations like this.
What's coming next is that your partner is going to move through some of the other stages of grief: bargaining, denial, and anger. Usually lots and lots of anger, and that is not connective at all. Why do you suddenly
And what a beautiful video, gentlemen, from this dating coach we have here. Now, it caught my ear when she said during the previous video that she offered sessions. So I went ahead, guys, and I did a liberty for the show, and what I came across was really quite something. So right here, gentlemen, if I can pull up the right screen. This is her website. Okay, now she does coaching on here. So as you can see, she's got coaching programs. She does booking, and there's a section called, here's the thing in contact. I'm going to move the screen over in a second. But we have this woman, guys, who, again, 50 plus years old. I couldn't find any information about her, but look, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and assume that she is divorced. Okay, now I'm going to take a moment to kind of shift this screen across with you guys so we can read about her coaching process, if I can actually click the right damn thing. So let's have a look. My coaching process is based on a belief that growth is associative and fluid rather than linear and fixed. Whether you engage in one-on-one, group, or couples coaching, my programs are designed to be transformational, to identify your inner resources and support you in learning new skills. We'll tap into your signature strengths and wonderful quirks in a way that will boost your self-confidence, lead you to greater fulfillment, as well as improve the quality of your relationships, including relationship to self. I create a safe and supportive environment for you to get curious, gain clarity, be brave, embrace new practices, and grow towards the best version of yourself. Now, guys, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, Taylor, that sounds fantastic. I know, guys, just humor me for a second here, okay? But I'm going to pull up the prices to this kind of stuff, gentlemen, okay? And like, just a bit of a warning, gentlemen, it is a little bit insane. So let's take a look here, if I can once again pull the screen correctly. Okay, look at this. A 30-minute consultation call is complimentary. A super session is only for 1.5 hours, guys, is only $300 US, I can only imagine. So for those of you living in Australia or other, that's like $520 right now, Australian, okay? One-on-one coaching session for an hour is $225, but don't worry, guys, if that sounds too expensive, she has a bundle here for 5 sessions for only $1,000, 10 sessions for $2,000, 15 sessions for 2.7, and 20 sessions for $3,500 US. Okay, and this is why, gentlemen, where, I don't know, like on TikTok, guys, people just seem to want to be lied to, right? All these girls go, yes, queen, I deserve more out of my relationships. And then they fall down this rabbit hole of, oh, you know what? It's all about caring for myself when they get plenty enough. You see, there is a huge difference between caring for yourself as a man and caring for yourself as a woman. Because let me tell you something, guys, self-respect in relationships is something that on the balance of probabilities, men are not trained to have. Women are trained out here, to go and get that dude, you boss babe, go on to the next guy, see what the best thing you can get is. Guys are trained to sit in those situations and just give, and put up with whatever behavior that she gives you, because if you don't, you quote unquote don't love her. Right, and this is the end result of that, guys. I mean, look at this, absolutely insane numbers. $1,000 right here. This is, I'm from Australia, guys. This is 1,400 AUD to have a 5-session coaching package. And I hope YouTube doesn't take down the video for what I'm about to say here, guys. I don't mean to be rude when I say this, though. I would not be paid to have these sessions. Like, you could not pay me money to sit down and have these coaching sessions, gentlemen. Okay, and I really wanted to show you guys that website there because I thought that was just absolutely insane. But we are going to be cracking into a couple of things, a couple of Reddit stories real quick to wrap up today's show that I also wanted to show you, you gentlemen. So this is from our favorite subreddit, guys. And it is titled, He Wanted a Free Pee, He Was Ditched and Ghosted Instead. So they're having a laugh at this man's misfortune, and we're going to read his current situation. The title is, She Went to the Bathroom and Never Came Back. So this girl matched me on a dating app. We were talking consistently for 3 days, and I finally was free to meet her. I drove 2 hours and picked her up at her place, was going well, and we went to eat. She was in the bathroom a long time, so I texted her if she was okay, and she said, yeah, girl problems. So I thought, okay, whatever. Well, now she has blocked me on everything. What a waste of time. This sucks. Okay, and then making fun of him, basically for going through the situation, guys, where this man has got his time wasted. Guys, I always bring this up whenever this is kind of applicable, but if you're sitting here talking to a girl for 3 days, please do not be sending, having these, if you're a dude who's out here choosing to date, right, 1 to 2 messages a day. That's all she gets from you guys. Don't be going out. You have things to do, boys. Like, do the things you care about. I don't particularly care what it is, guys, whether you want to be playing video games, working on your career. Anything is better than sitting here giving these girls long conversations about their life and about the color of their cat and stupid crap like that. Like, guys, I don't care what it is that you're doing, whether you're into cars, boats, building, video games. I don't care what it is, gentlemen. Just anything is better than wasting your time in this particular way. Okay, because this is not something that benefits you as a man, gentlemen. You will waste so much of your time having these chats consistently. You know what I mean? If you're sending more than 2 messages a day to a girl, guys, like, I don't know what to tell you, gentlemen. And a lot of guys are probably cursing at me in the comments going, Taylor, how, don't send any messages to women, right? And, we got dudes out here who choose to date and those who don't. But for those of the guys who are choosing to date, gentlemen, don't be giving these girls long conversations and your attention for free, because it is valuable, okay? But guys, we're going to be continuing on to the next story. And this is a bit of a cope that we have right here. So this one, again, from the same subreddit, guys, our favorite subreddit for content on this show. It is titled, "It Wasn't and It Isn't a Waste." No matter how long you spent in that doomed relationship, a month, a year, a decade or more, breaking up isn't a waste of all those years, because you still learn from it. You learned what not to accept in a partner. You learned to treat yourself with respect and dignity. You learned that you need to raise your standards. And in breaking up, you learned how to enforce your boundaries. Guys, let me just tell you something right here. This part right here, no matter how long you spend in a doomed relationship, girls know when they're in a relationship with a dude, like whether or not they're using him for money or whatever the case may be. Okay, see, because what will happen is girls will sit in relationships where that'll, so that they can get money, or they can have their kids taken care of, or so that they can have a place to live and not have to work. Basically, they're using, a guy as an opportunity, so that, their life becomes easier. Now, what girls will do a lot of these times, gentlemen, is they'll sit in those relationships knowing full well that they don't like to be there. Right, they'll be cheating on the dude, they'll be withholding bedroom fund, whatever the case may be, and girls will stay in these relationships for a month, a year, a decade or more. You see what I'm saying? They'll have a dude on the side, they'll be doing all this kind of crap, but girls know when they're sitting in quote-unquote doomed relationships, because they just won't respect the guy. They'll treat him like crap and use him along the way. But let's continue on. Don't keep withering away in a toxic situationship. Okay, so we'll come back to this. Just because you've been dating since you were 16 and he's all you've known, or you've been married for 20 plus years. What would be a waste is staying in a relationship that is not benefiting you. You are wasting your future before it even happens. If he's a leech, you are also wasting your time, money, energy, and space by continuing to let him drain you. The time you spent with him can never be reclaimed, so there is no point in trying to hold on to a relationship, even if you have already wasted lots of time and money. But it'd be a waste to throw that out. What are you losing on? ED and verbal A word? That's not an incentive to stay dating. Sure, it sucks that you couldn't have spent your years with someone better, but there are still years ahead of you. Don't throw those things out by clinging to something you made a poor investment in. Sunk cost fallacy does you no good. Now, gentlemen, the situation she's describing here actually may be a little bit different to the one I described, that is the typical one, where a lot of dudes are out here getting used. Is a lot of girls will sit in relationships with dudes simply because they don't give her what she wants, whether that be attention or what. Usually it comes in the form of attention and validation, but a lot of girls will stay in relationships with dudes and they'll say, oh, he's the A word, he didn't treat me well, he didn't do all of that kind of stuff. And then you ask her how long the relationship has lasted, and it's been like 7 or 8 years. You see, guys, that's how addicted a lot of these girls get to validation, and they need the praise in order to go through their lives, guys, where oftentimes women won't leave a dude simply because, she's not getting the validation that she wants from him. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Make sure you leave your thoughts and your comments to some of the clownery that we have seen today. Don't go off sending the woman any awful messages or anything like that. I just wanted to share you a bit of a funny story about a dating coach who still cannot take accountability for divorces. But gentlemen, we're going to be leaving the show there, so make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you gentlemen in the next episode. Peace.